So the way that other people see your autism or your problems might contort the way that you think about it. So I'm going to get into what I call the fire analogy and how you could describe autism to a neurotypical. Let's get into the video. Get to know me personally with my one-on-one coaching. First call is absolutely free. Check the link out in the description. So a popular question that we might get from a neurotypical is, for example, we tell them a task that we're going to do or how we might find it difficult. They might say, oh, but that is easy. That is just simple. That can be said and that can be done, right? But to us, it's easier said than done. It's not just A, B, and C. It might be something deeper than that. You might need to put a little bit of brain power into whatever the task is. This is really broad from what I'm saying, but a lot of people struggle with specific things, and really depends what you struggle with. But I think when you explain it to a neurotypical, they find it really confusing. How does something so simple, how do you make it seem like you're struggling so much? And that's where this analogy, which I call the fire analogy, comes in. So in a hypothetical world, imagine that everyone had a hand and it had a specific amount of pain or heat on it. For example, some people have like a hand that feels like it's on fire constantly, and some people feel like their hand might be at, I don't know, say like 20 to 30 degrees. So a bit uncomfortable, but still bearable. So imagine you had that hand that was on fire. Remember, this is a hypothetical world. No one can see what each other has, like with their hands. Imagine you went up to your mate and said, my hand, I don't know, it's so bad, it's unbearable, right? And your mate has a 30-degree hand. Well, they're just going to say, get over it, deal with it, because they have something that can actually be dealt with. If you had his body, well, then you would probably deal with it exactly the same as how he is, because you would be in his body. So what I'm trying to get at is some neurotypicals might think, oh, you're overreacting or you're overdoing it too much. But in theory, if we put the fire analogy in place, well, maybe we're not overreacting as much as we think. And at the end of the day, we're not going to know if that's actually true or not. But based on the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act, and if you know you've put things in place to be able to improve and do all those things, well, you've got to come to a natural conclusion about yourself and the way you feel. And also making sure that you're not basing your understanding through other people. Because imagine that mate who had the 30-degree hand said, don't worry about it, don't, just deal with it. You might start to question yourself. You might start to go, maybe I'm not normal, maybe I am overreacting. So then that person may start to go, okay, so this is normal. This 1,000-degree burn is normal. I should be able to deal with it better than this. But unfortunately, that's obviously not the case. How is someone going to function if their hands always feels like they're at 1,000 degrees compared to 30 degrees? But as I said, they don't know that. So maybe the way you react to things, it really depends how you react. You want to still be logical here. You still want to make sure you're analyzing yourself. You want to make sure you're looking at yourself the best you can to make sure you don't break down in any way or get too upset. And making sure you're within your means of what you can control and what can contribute to your life. So in conclusion, just making sure you're watching out in the standards you're setting, and don't be too hard on yourself when a neurotypical person says, Well, that's easy. You should be able to do that. That might not be the case. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe to watch more educational content about autism and how to be an independent young man on the autism spectrum. Anyway, thank you.